So maybe you're thinking about installing solar panels on your house, or maybe you're looking at buying a house that already has solar panels installed. Now, so many people I talk to have no idea what to do with solar or what type of agreement they should get into. So I'm going to walk you through my thought process today and see if we can figure out what might be best for you. Hey everyone, I'm Kyle Winn, and if you've never seen any of my videos, I help people just like you buy and sell homes all over Southern California. Now I'm here today in my own backyard at my house, and I just had solar panels installed on my roof. Like, they just got done this morning, and there was an army of people here the last few days crawling all over the roof. It was loud, it was annoying, I was kind of disturbed, and then I just had to remind myself why I was doing this. All right, now so many people, they think about putting solar on their roof, and today I'm going to walk you through my thought process and how I came to the conclusion of installing these panels and what I did with financing as well. Now this video is going to be especially useful for you if you're looking at buying a brand new house, because here in California, all brand new homes that are built right now have to have solar panels installed, and from the builder you can decide to either lease them or purchase them. So you're going to want to check this out, and this might help you make your decision. So you may be wondering why I even started thinking about solar panels in the first place. Now my house here behind me is not quite 2,000 square feet, just below that, but it does have some vaulted ceilings because it's a split level home. So with the tall ceilings, there's a little bit more air inside than maybe your average 2,000 square foot home. And also this house was built in the 80s, and even though I do have dual pane windows, they're not the newest things. They were a little bit old and outdated, and when the sun shined through those windows, you could really feel the heat coming in. So with the bad windows that aren't very efficient and a lot of volume, you could imagine it took quite a bit of energy to cool off this house in the summertime when it's over 100 degrees outside. I'll tell you my exact situation. Now you already know that my house, there's kind of a lot of volume of air inside for the size of the house that it is, and the windows aren't very good, but I kept my thermostat at 78 degrees all summer long, and I don't know about you, but that's barely cold enough for me to sleep comfortably at night, all right? And it does feel good compared to 100 degrees outside, but when it's time for me to go to sleep, I need it cool. But I kept it at 78 so I could try to keep my electricity bills down a little bit, but it didn't really work. I had a couple of months here this summer where my bill was close to $600 a month for electricity, and that's mostly just to keep the house comfortable enough for me to sleep at night. So I had to do something about it. I started by contacting a few local solar companies to figure out exactly what their processes look like, what their installation timeframes look like, and how they would determine how big of a system I would need on my roof. Now what they did ask for was about 12 months of my electric utility bills so they could understand my average energy consumption over the course of a year. Now they took that information and designed a system to account for maybe some heat waves and solar panels degrading a little bit over time to design the right size system just for me based on my energy usage here at home. So one agreement I learned about with these solar companies is a type of lease that they call a power purchase agreement. Now in that agreement, the solar company will come and install all the equipment on your roof for free. You don't have to pay for the panels, you don't have to pay for installation or any of the equipment, but it's called a power purchase agreement because you agree to pay for all of the power that is produced by those panels over the course of a year, whether you use it or not. So a lot of times these leases are for 20 years, so you sign an agreement that says you will pay for all the power that those panels produce for 20 years, and depending on how they size that system, you may not produce enough power for your energy needs, or you may overproduce and be stuck paying for that extra power even though you don't actually need it. So that's what I really didn't like about personally about the power purchase agreement, was that no matter what, I had to pay for the power even if I used it or not. So for me personally, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense, but for some people I know they love the power purchase agreement, so definitely look into those details and it might be a good option for you. When it came time to look at options for purchasing a system, I quickly decided that I wasn't going to pay for it outright. One, because I didn't want to write a check for tens of thousands of dollars, and two, I learned about some pretty good financing options. Now I won't bore you with all of those details, but what I ended up deciding on was a 20-year loan to pay off these solar panels. The rate and terms and everything like that just made sense for me, and I'll dive into those details right here. I have some notes for you. Now, I told you at the beginning of the video that the solar company wanted to see all of my electricity bills over the course of a year. Now, I told you I have some notes here, so I'm going to read off of this so I don't forget some important information for you. So my average electricity bill over the course of a whole year was $290. Okay, and now I told you that I purchased this system and I financed it for 20 years, and the payment on this system to own it is $175 a month. And I own all of this power. Whatever I produce, I can use all of it, but if I don't use all the power, that gets sent back to the grid and I can get a credit for overproducing here at my property. I told you $175 a month for 20 years. Now, if I see this through for the whole life of the loan, that's going to add up to $42,000 over the 20 years. But the actual payoff right now is quite a bit less, because that $42,000 includes all the interest and everything like that. Now, I plan on being in this house for about 5 more years. So let's just assume, or not assume, I am saving based on the payment here and my previous Edison bills. I'm saving $115 a month right now. So if I save $115 a month over 5 years, that's $6,900 that I personally would deduct from the total cost. You know, in my mind, would deduct that savings from the cost of the system. Now, on most appraisal reports that I've seen for properties that do have solar panels installed, the appraisers will typically give somewhere around $25,000 in value to the property for having those solar panels. So I'm also going to deduct $25,000 from the cost of my system, because I'm actually adding $25,000 worth of value to my property. Now, lastly, because I'm buying this solar panel system and not leasing it, I'm eligible to receive a tax credit. Now, this isn't a deduction from my taxable income. It's actually a tax credit that goes towards what I owe, the government, based on my income for that year. And the tax credit that I'm going to get on this system is equivalent to 26% of the total cost of that $42,000, which will save me almost $11,000, actually $10,920. So if we start with a $42,000 system and assume I pay all the interest and everything over 20 years and subtract the $6,600 in savings based on the difference between this payment and my utility bill, the $25,000 in value I just added to my home, and my nearly $11,000 tax credit, we end up with negative $820. So what does that mean? That means that if I stay here about 5 years, that's going to be the break-even point for me. That after that point, I'm truly starting to save a lot of money. Now, the other thing that's exciting to me is that I'm essentially locking in a $175 a month electric payment on this property. And I don't know about you, but I can't imagine the electric utility companies decreasing the cost of power anytime soon. So I just told you that my average monthly bill has been $290 a month, and I could imagine in a year or 5 or 10 or 20 years, that $290 bill might go to $350, $400, even $500, creating even more savings for me down the road, because I've locked in this $175 monthly payment to pay off these panels, and it's going to produce all the energy that I need. Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering, now what happens if I sell my house with this financed solar panel system on my roof? Well, I'm basically going to have one of two options, is what I see very common. One option is that I can pay off this system completely when I sell my house, and the buyers of my house are going to have free energy, to power the entire home. The other option is that the buyers might be able to take over my loan and continue making those $175 monthly payments until the system is completely paid off. Now, you might be wondering, why in the heck would someone want to take over my loan? Well, the point is that that $175 monthly payment for these panels is going to be a heck of a lot less than what their electric utility bill would be in 5 years or more whenever I decide to sell this house. So if I do pay it off, or if I let the buyers assume my loan, that'll be taken into account on the sale price of my property. Overall, at the end of the day, I'm probably going to end up paying for it, but if I'm here long enough, it's going to pay for itself one or even twofold if I'm here long enough. So in my mind, since I am going to be here at least 5 years, as of now anyways, it just totally made sense for me to finance this system. Well, I hope you at least understand solar panels a little bit more, and although I am far from an expert, I at least wanted to walk you through my experience and my thought process on how I came to decide to purchase these panels and actually finance them for 20 years. So if you have any questions about my experience or solar panels in general, go ahead and drop those in the comments below for me. I'll do my best to help you out, but I may refer you to some great resources. And before you leave, be sure to like this video if you found it helpful and subscribe to my channel with notifications on so you can see all my future videos.